Okay, guys, this is on chapter four, um, the market environment, and that simply means what's happening or what is outside of your firm. These are factors that affect or should affect some of the decisions that you make. Um, so let's talk about the external marketing environment. So, what is that? Well, first let's talk about the target market. What is the target market? That is a defined group that's most likely to buy a product. So if you're selling um, mink stoles, for example, you need to target a group of people that would be specific to what you're selling. In other words, you would not target a man. You primarily would target women. You would target women who were probably well-to-do, um, had some kind of sophisticated lifestyle. So there are ways to do that. Changes the market that you're targeting is going to change because of age, and there are external elements that change consumers' desires. Unless the marketing manager can understand that internal environment, the firm cannot intelligently plan for the future. So environmental management is this. It's when a company implements strategies that attempt to shape the external environment within which it operates. All right, so there are some factors that contribute to this. They are attitudes, values, and lifestyle. Um, Obviously, we have some American values: self-sufficient, upward mobility, work ethic, conformity. Um, and then you have some trends, which means simply whether you're going to get off the grid, how meaningful it is as far as green is concerned, as far as what we're doing to conserve the environment. And there's also something called ecotech-med. Now, with people moving around, um, getting jobs, getting promotions, they're moving. One thing that I see is that there's still a pretty strong work ethic in this country, but there's also, I would say, some who could care less about working. Now, how you're going to deal with that, I guess, is up to you. All right, the influence of values on buying habits, and this is ranked by product quality. Number one, most consumers want to buy a product that is reliable. In other words, if you get in a car, you want to get one that cranks. You don't want to have to call uh, AAA every time you get in the car. Number two, durable. Product durability is of critical importance. Easy maintenance, critical. Ease of use. If you're buying some type of technological equipment, um, I'm sure you're going to look at, hey, how easy is this thing to operate? A trusted brand name. People want to buy something that they can identify quality with. And lastly, they're looking for low price. Now, I've got to clarify this. Just because you buy something um, with a low price does not mean that there's going to be a quality issue. Sometimes there are, sometimes there are not. Now the old adage is you get what you pay for. There are some products I think personally that you might need to spend a few extra dollars for, just because of getting something reliable, durable, easy to maintain, ease of use, and then obviously trusted brand. Um, the practice of choosing goods and services that meet one's diverse needs and interests rather than conforming to a single traditional lifestyle, um, or components that you have to look at. Today's consumers want multifunctional products, and that's no longer defined only by occupation. All right, how does social media play in communication? Social media allows the creation and exchange of user-generated content, um, and it includes several formats that allow for one-to-one, one-to-many, many-to-many. And I think for those of you who are that familiar with social media, understands that you can communicate with one person. You can send a message out to a gazillion, or if you're on Facebook and you have thousands of followers and or friends, or Twitter, for that matter, that can be multiplied tremendously. Demographic factors. So, what are the importance to marketing managers with current demographic needs? All right, obviously, if you're going to sell something, people are the basis for any market. It's cut and dried. Now, demographic characteristics relate to buyer behavior. They have their own needs, values, and consumption patterns. All right, what are tweens? These are pre and early adolescents, usually between age 8 to 12, population of about 20 million. They directly spend about $50 or 50 billion annually. Parents spend 150 billion on tweens annually, and they view TV ads as just advertising. So there is a market here that in back in the day you didn't really have, because now kids at an earlier age are starting to have their own money and they're buying pretty much things that they like or things that they want. Um, this was not in my generation. This was it. Kids who worked kind of spent did what they kind of wanted to. The population of teens are about 25 million. 93% of the teens are on the internet. They view shopping as a social sport, whatever. 50 million teens around the world are on Facebook. The average teen spends about $45 a week. Generation Y, these were born between 1979 and 1994. They surpassed the population of the baby boomers. So, in other words, the baby boomers, it happens to be my generation, and this crowd is getting ready to retire. Now, Generation Y has passed this group. Um, there are two stages of these. Those born in 1994 fit closer to the teen cohort, and those born in 1979 have already established careers and started families. The purchasing power of this particular group is about $200 billion dollars annually. Generation X, born between 65 and 78, population 40 million. 71% have children under the age of 18. They're independent, they're resilient, they're adaptable, they're cautious, skeptical. Home ownership is an important goal to this group. They're avid buyers of the latest clothes, technology, and recreational products. Baby boomers. Now, this happens to be my particular generation. These cats were born between 1946 and 1964. Population 75 million. Many of us are having to work longer to compensate for an economic downturn, which occurred in 2008, 2009, and it affected a lot of people's retirement savings. The market of services directed to seniors is one of the fastest growing business markets. Um, Ethnic markets. There's an estimated purchasing power of ethnic markets in 2013 were Hispanics 1.5 trillion, African Americans 1.2 billion, Asian Americans 775 billion. The minority population of the United States in 2011 reached 110 million. As you can see, there is a market and a niche there that people can capitalize on. All right, marketing to Hispanic Americans. The Hispanic population's diversity creates challenges for targeting this market. 60% of Hispanics are of Mexican descent. So that means the other 40 are from other countries, Colombia, Venezuela, and other countries in South America. They're highly responsive to news media, mobile marketing, and social media marketing. Marketing to African Americans. 47% are between 18 and 49. Most firms are creating products for the African American market. And I'm sure that you can visualize or remember seeing specific ads for just African American or black folk. Certain kinds of hair products are designed just specifically for African Americans. Now, promotional dollars and media choices directed toward African Americans continue to increase. Asians, these are younger, better educated, have the highest average income of all groups. They're early adopters of the latest digital gadgets, and the cultural diversity within the Asian American market complicates promotional efforts. All right, what are economic factors? Consumers' income. Obviously, income has a lot to do with what people can buy. It has a drastic impact on their purchasing power. Three, inflation. How does inflation affect a person's ability to purchase or their income? Obviously, if inflation is high, that means the dollar does there's just not enough there. And then recession. If there's a recession in the economy, it definitely hurts. Median income in 2012 was approximately 50. They've risen at a slow pace in recent years. However, the last study that I heard of in the last few weeks was that the median income, I think, has dropped from like $54 to $50,000 in the last 6 years. Education is the primary determinant of earning potential. Guys, I cannot be critical enough to tell you that for you to get ahead in life, you have to have an education. Education is critical in this day and age. Purchasing power. What is purchasing power? Is a comparison of income versus the relative cost of a set of standard goods and services in different geographic areas. So what is inflation? Inflation is the measure of the decrease in the value of money expressed as a percentage reduction in value since the previous year. Recession, a period of economic activity characterized by negative growth, which reduces demands for goods and services. If we're in a recession, prices are generally high, salaries are low, so therefore your buying power has been affected. All right, what are some technological factors? Research. You have basic research. We call this pure research that aims to conform an existing theory or to learn more about a concept phenomenon. Applied research, then, is an attempt to develop new or improved products. And I think some companies their goal is to obviously see that some types of new innovation are created to enhance product and capabilities. All right, stimulating innovation. They build scenarios, enlist the web to talk to early adopters, use marketing research, create an innovative environment. And lastly, they cater to entrepreneurs. Obviously, I think you know what entrepreneur is from introduction to business or having heard. Someone who's willing to take risks to go out and start a new business. And many of these entrepreneurs have developed some type of new innovation. All right, so what are some political, legal factors that are involved? Laws and regulation obviously protect new technology, they protect society, they protect businesses, and they protect consumers. We have federal legislation that regulates a competitive environment. They would be the Sherman Act, the Clayton Act, Federal Trade Commission Act, the Seller Kefauver Anti-Merger Act, Hart-Scott-Rodino Act, and the Foreign Corruption Practices Act. There's also an act for regulatory pricing practices. That's called the Robinson-Patman Act. And then to control false advertising, that is the Wheeler-Lee Act. I would be familiar with these for your testing purposes. Obviously, in addition to federal regulations, there are state laws that affect marketing, and it varies obviously state by state. Oregon limits advertising to 0.05% of the net income. California bans trans fats in restaurants and bakeries, as if California doesn't have enough problems. Regulatory agencies. You have the Consumer Protection Product Safety Commission. They protect consumer safety in and around their homes. You have the Federal Trade Commission, FTC, shortcut for it, prevents unfair methods of Competition and Commerce, and then you have the Federal Drug Administration, also known as the FDA, which enforces safety regulations and for food and drug products. You have the bureaus of the FTC. We have the Bureau of Competition, and then you have the Bureau of Consumer Protection. Consumer privacy, you have government actions. You have the CAN-SPAM Act. Obviously, I think you're familiar with that. And then you have the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. Some competitive factors that might help. Um, Here's what you need to know. In order for you to be successful in business, how many competitors do you have? How big are they? How interdependent is the industry? If you're in a small niche market, for example, I'm going to say look at a restaurant. If you're in a small town and there are five Chinese restaurants in the town, why in goodness gracious name would you want to put another Chinese restaurant? Because this small town is dividing its business between five places. I come up with another kind of restaurant, maybe different hamburgers or something, to attract uh, another niche market. I mean, after all, there can only be so much Chinese food available. Uh, the reason I said Chinese food, that's what I had for lunch. Competitive factors, market share and profit. Firms have to work harder to maintain profits and market share if there's a lot of competition. And almost the bottom line for any organization is to make a profit. And shareholders and stakeholders are looking at ideas and ways to increase the profitability. You have global competition, which means more foreign markets are entering the U.S. market, and foreign firms in the U.S. now compete on product quality. I mean, look at what's happened to ours because we're sending stuff overseas um, to be made, and which has definitely hurt the thing. All right, just remember, uh, do your discussion questions, answer the little watch and answer. Do your stuff on Cengage. Your first discussion post is due on Wednesday, so be sure and get it in and stay abreast. Thanks. Have a good day.